In the last class, we have seen the introduction of Linux. Linux is what? It's one of the operating system, and the advantage of going with Linux is it's a multi-user based operating system, and it is more secure compared with Windows operating system. Linux is what? It is more secure, and we use Linux mainly to install the database servers, application servers, okay, and even Docker servers. All DevOps related servers we are going to install use in Linux. And in the last class, we have seen the AWS account setup. Let us open. Here we need to log in. So you can go to this AWS management console. It will taking some time to open the page. So today the main objective is we are going to set up Linux virtual machine in AWS Cloud here. So more about AWS we'll discuss once we complete this Linux commands. We'll be learning some of the important Linux commands. After that we'll go with AWS. So in order to work with Linux, first of all we are going to create this Linux virtual machine in AWS Cloud. So that is the main objective of today's class. Set up Linux virtual machine in AWS Cloud. This is the main objective of today's class.
I have one doubt, hello.
Hello. Yeah, yes, please.
While we are implementing the full project using Java, where we need to use that Linux, this operating system?
See here. Once we create the project, we need to deploy the application, right?
Yes, yes.
So in order to deploy the application, we are going to use the DevOps tools like Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, right?
Okay,
Okay. So in order to work with that Docker Jenkins, we are going to install this in AWS Cloud. Once we install these applications in AWS Cloud, in order to interact with that, we make use of Linux commands.
Okay, for main purpose is to deploy the project, right?
Right. Project related only. It's all project related, not related to coding part at all here. These all things.
Okay. Basically,
So
we
whatever we
deploy
are
the
learning,
project to first GitHub. After that, we deploy the project to this
the project is
AWS.
GitHub is a repository that is not called as deployment.
Okay.
It's only repository where we keep all our code. So once I keep the code in repository, can we use that application anywhere? No, right? It's not a server.
Yeah, it's not a server.
It's
Just
only
it's a
repository server we call. Only code will be there, but it won't
code.
run our application.
Yes.
Okay. To make our
Yeah.
application live, to make it work, we have to deploy it.
Okay.
Okay. So we are using Tomcat server now to deploy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up to now we have learned only Tomcat server to deploy. But
Okay.
the main use of doing with the Docker is like environment setup. It is a containerization. Means when you want to deploy an application, when you want to work with the application, we require server, Tomcat server. We require the softwares like Java software. Then we require Maven tool. We require Spring Boot libraries, all the things. So Docker will take care of all these things. It will make it as containerization. So once you make a Docker image, I can use it on any operating system directly. That is the beauty of Docker. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll discuss once we come to the tools.
Yeah.
So we are signing as root user. So provide the email ID. Provide the password. Today it is very slow. Just what we have done, just I'm signing into AWS account. And today the main objective is we are going to set up this Linux virtual machine in AWS Cloud. This is the main objective. Once we log in into this AWS Cloud by using our username and password, here the first step what we need to do is we need to choose our region. What we need to do? We need to choose our region here. Here you can see. So the nearest one, if you are related to United States, you can choose your related like Virginia, okay, California, like that. So since I'm near to this Asia Pacific, I'm choosing here Mumbai. And see the name AP South one. What is this AP? AP indicates Asia Pacific. Okay, AP means Asia Pacific. I'm choosing this region here. So this we call it as data center. This we call it as what here? Data center. Okay. Once we choose this data center, the meaning of data center is like, so where all our details will be stored, where we create our servers, where we store our data, all these details will be stored in our data center. So you can see the image here. If you search here, AWS data centers, AWS data centers. So you can see the images here. So this is how data centers looks. So this is how data centers looks, where all our services will be provided. Okay, all network related things, managing your servers, all the things will be present in this data centers. Okay, so more about this I'll be discussing once again with you. Just I'm showing the image how it looks. Okay. Now, once we enter into this and once we choose the data center here, this we call it as data center. So I'm choosing here Asia Pacific Mumbai. Then here in search, what we need to do is we are going to make use of EC2 service. What is this EC2 is? Elastic Compute Cloud. It is expansion of EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud. So two C's. CC, that's the reason they have given it as C2. And what is the use of this EC2 services? Using EC2 service in AWS, we can set the virtual machines. Using this EC2 service in AWS, what we can do, we can set the virtual machines. And this AWS, it's a free tier. AWS is what? It's a free tier account and it is valid for 1 year. It's a free tier account for 1 year. And when you go for EC2, what is the main use of EC2? I said to set up virtual machines. To set up what? Virtual machines. And remember, it is monthly. In a month, we can use this EC2 service for 750 hours. Up to 750 hours, it is free of cost in AWS. Up to 750 hours, it is free of cost in AWS. Okay, monthly, it is monthly. Even in a month, if I use 24 hours also, no problem. The bill will not get generated here. And if you are using more than this, means you may be taking some 10 machines. You may be taking some 10 machines, 10 virtual machines you are creating, and you are using monthly, means it may cross 750 hours, then bill will be generated. And once the bill is generated, and if you are not paying the bill, if they're not paying the bill, they'll be keep on sending the reminders for 2 to 3 times. And still, if you are not paying the bill, our account will get deactivated. Nothing to worry about the payment. Until we approve the payment, they won't take money from us. Okay, it's completely free of cost. Even the bill is generated, we need not pay that. And you can even contact the support team, and you can just say that I'm a student, I'm just browsing AWS, I'm learning purpose. So then they'll, whatever the amount it has generated, that also they'll remove it. Okay, and if the account is deactivated, what we need to do, we can create one more new account using new email ID. That's it. Okay. So if you take other cloud services like Azure, it's a paid one. Azure services are not free of cost. They are paid. That's the reason many people will make use of this AWS for working with cloud platforms. So what is the main use of going with EC2? It is mainly to set the virtual machines. Now here we are going to make use of what? EC2 service in order to install this Linux virtual machine. In order to set this Linux virtual machine, we are going to make use of EC2 service. So how to do that one is here in search. Here in search, you can find search now. I'm highlighting properly. In search, you search for EC2. You search for what? EC2. Once we search for EC2, here you can see the services here. EC2 service, and it's given see virtual servers in the cloud. Virtual servers in the cloud. Now select this EC2. Select this. Once we select this EC2, say follow the recording properly. When you are creating this Linux virtual machine on your system, no, just follow the recording step by step, and you can do it on your system. Okay. Here you can find see Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud EC2, and here you can see launch instance. Okay, they have given all the details about EC2. Okay, so fully resizable compute capacity to support virtually any workload. Okay, so this service is the best if you want here. And here what we need to do, we need to choose this one, launch instance. Click on this launch instance. Once we click on this launch instance, then here it is going to show you name and tags. Here it's going to show you, see, name and tags. Here we have to go with the name of your server. So it may be Tomcat server, it may be your Linux virtual machine, it may be your Maven tool, it may be Docker server, like that. So here we need to choose our name and tags. So here I'm going with the name like Rajtech Linux virtual machine. Any name, you can use any name here. Okay. So the name I'm taking it as what? Rajtech Linux virtual machine. Then once we give the name, scroll down. Here you can see applications and OS images, operating system images. Here we need to choose this Linux AWS. So what I said yesterday, we are going to make use of the Linux distribution, that is Linux, Amazon Linux. You can even go for see Mac OS, Ubuntu Linux. We can even go with Windows, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Debian, like this. So whichever you want, you can configure this virtual machine on your AWS Cloud. Okay, so in our case, what we are going to choose? This Amazon Linux. So choose this one. Slowly you do it, okay? So choose this one, Amazon Linux. Once we choose this, just to scroll down, and here it is showing see instance type. The meaning of instance is like a machine. It's like a virtual machine for us. And here it is showing see T2 micro. The instance type what it is showing see T2 micro. And see you can see it is free tier eligible. Free tier eligible. Okay. And see it's going to give 1 gigabyte memory. Okay. And these are the prices. More prices here you can find. And if you want to go with other instances also you can choose here. See, you can see T2 nano where we get more memory. Okay. So T2 small, T2 medium, T2 large. Okay. Where we get see 8 gigabyte memory and you can see 0.128 US dollars per hour. So these are all chargeable here. So only the free one for this one is what T2 micro, or you can even go with what T3 micro also. Can even go with what T3 micro. So sometimes it may show T2 micro, sometimes it may show T3 micro. So choose any one. So choose this one T2 micro. And once we choose this, here the very important one, key pair. Okay, we have to choose a key pair. This is very important one for us. This step. So here we have to create a new key pair. Since we are using it for the first time, create new pair, only one time process here. So create a new key pair. Then here we'll go with this .pem. So here we have to go with the enter key pair name. So I'm giving the key pair name like Linux practice. Any name. Linux practice. Then now click on this create key pair. Click on this. Am I writing properly? Click on this. So just we have to provide the name. Any name you can go XYZ. And here we have to click here create key pair. Then once we click on this, it's going to download a file for us. Here it's downloaded, see linuxpractice.pem. Okay, so open this file, copy this .pem file, the key pair, copy this, and let us paste it into our folder. So we are working with our folder now. In our folder, let me create one more new folder, key pairs. In this key pairs, I'm going to paste this key pair value. So that is linuxpractice.pem file. Okay, then this is very important step. Okay, this step is very important in order to work with the Linux. Then once we download and copy that, here you can see once you scroll down. So these are all network related things. You need not worry. Just go with what? Launch instance. You can see what? Launch instance. Okay, click on this. So what are the steps here? Once we choose EC2, then we have to go with the name. So I've given Rajtech Linux virtual machine. Then we have to choose this Amazon Linux. Then after that, go with the instance type as T2 micro. Then provide the key pair name. Okay, once we create the key pair name, download that. Once it is going to download the key pair. Once you click on create key pair, and that file you keep it in one folder. That folder is very important. You have to remember that folder. And after that, just to click on this launch instance. So it will take some time. See here. Successfully initiated launch of instance. Then we have to click on this. Click here. Click on this. Then once we click here, it will take some small time. before it comes. So in order to connect, what operating system we are using here? Windows. So from Windows, I want to connect to this EC2 Linux virtual machine, right? So in order to connect to this Linux virtual machine, which is present on AWS Cloud, we are going to make use of SSH. See, I'm writing here. In order to connect from Windows operating system to Linux virtual machine present in AWS Cloud. We make use of SSH. What is the meaning of SSH? What is the meaning of SSH? It is secured shell connection. It is what here SSH means secured shell connection. By using any one of the ways. That is, you can make use of git bash. We can make use of git bash. We can make use of putting. We can make use of MOBA extern. We can make use of WinSCP, right? So already when we have installed git client, so this git bash will come automatically for us. Okay, so I'm going to make use of git bash as a SSH in order to connect to this Linux virtual machine. Okay, let us open this console. Still it is running. Let me stop and reload. So here you can see here instant state. It is showing running. It's showing running. Then, and this is our public IP address. What is a public IP address? In order to connect to this 43.205.146.43, and this is the private IP address, right? Now, so this is the summary. Now what we need to do is our next step is we need to click on this connect. Click on this button what here, connect. Okay, click on this. Then once we click on this connect here, so connect using public IP, and see the username. The username say EC2 user. The username is what? EC2 user, and click on this button connect once again. Click on this button connect. And here, what is the way we are going to use to connect here? SSH client. This one we have to choose. Okay, what we have to use? SSH client. Select this. Then here, once we choose this SSH client, here you can see the steps in order to connect to Linux virtual machine. So first what we have to do, open an SSH client, then locate your private key file. These steps are very, very important here. So what we have to choose here, SSH client, and here these steps we need to follow. So we have to open an SSH client, that is git bash. In our case, locate your private key file. We have downloaded the key file. So that folder we have to choose. So what is the name of the key file what we have downloaded? Linux-practice.pem file. Go to that folder. Then we have to copy this command. chmod 400 linux-practice.pem. And once we do this, once we do that step, then our next step is we have to copy this and paste. Okay, let me show the steps. The first step, go to the folder where we have copied our key pair. So what is our key pair name? Linux-practice.pem. So right click in this folder. Go to the folder where you have pasted your key pair, right click in this folder, show more options. You can see Git bash. Open Git bash. So if you download Git client now, we'll get this option. Then here in this one, once we open this Git bash, our next step is copy this chmod linux practice.pm. Copy this. Click here, click on this symbol. It's going to copy. Come to Git bash and paste. Right click and say paste.
Here, instead
Okay.
of the git bash, we can use the putty and
Yes, anything, anyone. We can use anyone.
okay.
Okay. So in our
Okay.
case, I'm showing Git bash here. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Anyone we can use. Any SSH we can use.
Okay.
Right? Now, press enter key. Then, once we have done with this step, our next step is copy this example. Don't go to this. Copy this example. This one. This one we have to copy. Okay. So copy this. Click on this symbol. Come to Git bash. Right click and say paste. Press enter key. Hello. So this is my personal thing. Then are you sure you want to continue? Say yes. Type yes and press enter key. That's it. Your dollar symbol we are getting now. That means we have connected to Linux virtual machine. Okay. We have connected to Linux virtual machine. So this is our prompt for us. Clear up to here, all of you? Just follow the steps. I'll be sharing the recording now. Use that recording, follow the steps and install this Linux virtual machine on your system in AWS Cloud. Clear this point, all of you? Right? So can use the command like clear. So our console is clear now. Now you can check who is the user. What is our username? Who am I? When we use this command, who am I? It's going to give the username. What is our username? EC2 user. Okay. Then now, in order to see the calendar or date, if I want to see the date, you can type the command date command. Date command. If I type date command, see it's showing the date for us. And if I say calendar, it's going to show the calendar. The current month calendar it's going to show. That is today is Wednesday, 20th of August 2025. I want to see the calendar of 2026. Just type CAL 2026. So complete calendar it's going to display for your 2026. Clear? Right? Clear? Got some basic idea? If I use the command ls, there are no files, right? There are no files. That's the reason it's not showing anything. If I want to create a file, touch x.java. Now if I say ls, see you can see a file x.java. So what is the use of this touch command? In order to create a file in your folder. Then I want to know what is the current directory. What is the current directory? So we use the command pwd. Pwd means present working directory. So where we are working? Home / EC2 user. Okay. So we have now connected from our Windows operating system using git bash SSH. We have connected to Linux virtual machine running on AWS Cloud. Got it? Right? Now, moving to the next part here. So do all these things compulsory. Moving to the next one, Linux architecture. Linux architecture. Here, when you want to go with Linux architecture, we are having 4 important things like your commands, the application, then shell, kernel, and hardware. Let me show the diagram. Linux architecture. when you go with this Linux, so if you consider a Linux machine, let us consider this is our Linux machine, means Linux operating system. In this Linux operating system, we are having three important terms, which they are shell, kernel, and your hardware. Hardware means your keyboard, mouse, so and so things. Your hard disk, all those things comes under as hardware. Shell, kernel, and hardware. Now, from user, if you take a user, the user is going to type the commands. So the user is going to type the commands like see pwd, touchx.java. These are called as commands. Once the user types the commands, that command is given to the shell. The command is given to what here? Shell. Whatever the command the user is typing, that command goes to shell first. So what is the main purpose of shell? Shell is responsible to validate the command. So whatever the command the user is typing, this shell is used to validate the command given by the user. And it's going to translate that command into kernel understandable format. So this shell is similar to compilation, Java compiler. Shell is similar to Java compiler and kernel is related to JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Okay. So what are the command we give? What is the responsibility of shell? It is going to validate the command and translates that command into kernel understandable format. It's going to translate into kernel understandable format. Then once it converts and gives it to kernel, and kernel, what is the main responsibility? Kernel is the main core component in Linux and it is responsible to give instructions to hardware. So based on the command, it's going to give instructions to the hardware. And once that command is executed on your hardware, the results is given back to kernel. The results are given back to kernel. Kernel will again interact with the shell and shell is going to display the result back onto the user. It's going to display the result back onto the user. This is how your Linux is going to work. Right? Just a second. So what are the details here? In this, what is the main role of shell? Shell is responsible. Shell is what? Responsible to validate the commands given by the user and translates the command into kernel understandable format. Then what is the role of kernel? Kernel is the core component. Kernel is what? It's a core component in Linux. Kernel is responsible to give instructions to hardware hardware to execute the command, to execute the commands. Okay, right. Any questions, anyone up to here?
Hello.
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. Once we develop the project from front to back, that project we will give to the testing team, right?
Right,
Yeah, once a testing team, they will test the whole project, everything is good, then only we deploy the project to through AWS using Linux, right?
right, right.
Yeah. Once we deploy that project, it will be available for the production, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
So nowadays
Moreover,
everyone is deploying in AWS only. Even the
yeah,
companies are also deploying in AWS, means or any other cloud system.
okay. Like any other cloud system means like
Like Azure is there, Google is there,
okay,
but they
okay.
are paid. They are paid. So that's the reason we are using AWS for learning purpose. Even AWS is also paid.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want to go with huge memory in AWS also, it's a paid also there. But people choose AWS because it's free and they won't demand for amount initially. Even the bill is
Okay.
generated, we can even uh, ask for them to deduct that amount also. Sorry,
Okay.
to reduce the amount, all those things we can manage.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so until we permit, the amount will not get debited from our account. That's the point, main thing about AWS. If you go with Azure, they won't even send a message also to do the payment. Automatically, they are going to deduct from the account. Okay, because whenever you are creating the account in AWS or Azure, initially we have to provide our credit card or debit card details while creating
Yes.
account only. Right?
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
that, we cannot create the account data.
Yeah. We have only AWS Linux and the Azure and the Google for any
Not
deployment.
AWS Linux. AWS is the cloud platform. In that, I have installed Linux.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, it's a platform where I'm using AWS Cloud. So, see here, what is the main thing of cloud? So,
To
if you are
store the
not having
data.
cloud, if you are not having cloud, and I want to start a software company, and I require
Uh-huh.
100 systems. So, what I need to
Uh-huh.
do? I need to purchase 100 systems. Then I need to take care of network setup. I need to
Yeah.
provide some security. A person should be there who can able to take care of all these systems. Very difficult, right? And in
Yeah. Yeah.
future, if business is not running, then what about my 100 systems? Lost, no?
Yes. Yes.
So instead of that, what we do? We take all the machines in AWS Cloud.
Okay. Okay.
And once the work, if there is loss, that's it. We'll just close the account.
Okay. AWS is a just a platform. In this platform, we
Platform.
are using different operating
Different.
system, Linux and
We
Azure and
Linux, you can go. Any softwares we can install. Databases we can install. Anything we can do. Instead
yes.
of working in one system, we can use multiple systems.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, got
Sometimes,
it?
yeah, got it. Sometimes for the backend development also we are using the AWS, right?
Yes, we can even use. We can even use.
For creating the services, backend services.
Yes, we can use.
Okay, okay.
Anything. It's like our system only.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
We can use the Node.js also, right? AWS.
Anything. Any software we can install here.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So I will create a Linux operating system. In Linux operating system, can I install Java? Can I install Angular? Can I install Maven? Everything I can do. Because it's also a operating system like Windows. So here I can do everything here. This is the place. I'll show you
But
how to go with the Maven in Java installation. Everything we'll discuss here.
Angular, how it's possible? It's a Java. These all are the backend, right? Angular is the front end, right? But is it
So
possible?
what?
I
So front end is also right. How I installed Angular in Windows.
Yeah, yeah. Same thing we need to do
Same
in
way,
AWS.
same commands I can use here. AWS is only platform. Remember, it's only platform. On that platform, I'm installing different operating systems. I can install servers, I can create servers, I can install programming languages like Java or .NET or anything. It's an operating. I've created your virtual machine. Linux is one of the operating system. In AWS, I can even install Windows.
Okay.
Okay, right? It's
Moreover,
only platform. Just
yeah.
taking the resources for rent. That's it. Simple words to say.
Okay. It's costable, right? That's why we are using the Angular
Yeah,
in Windows and everything.
right.
Yeah, now I got it.
Right. Simple
Yeah.
general example. General example. Let us suppose you are having a function at your home, like a
Mm-hmm.
marriage,
Yeah.
and we are something around 500 people are coming.
Uh-huh.
So what you do? Will you? And we are not having space at our home to manage that 500 people, and we
Yes, we
require
will.
500 chairs, all those things. So we contact tent house, no?
Yes.
Once we use it, we give it to them back. Same concept here, cloud platforms. Same
Okay.
concept. We use the resources, and once it's done, we are going to release it. That's it.
Oh.
Until our business is running, we are going to use it. If no business, we are going to release it. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. One
Right.
more thing, in AWS we have so many servers, right? Not only EC2.
So many are there. So many things we are there.
Yeah.
RDS is also there. I'm going to discuss that.
Yeah.
Databases.
Why we are using EC2 only? Most of the people are using EC2 only.
Is it to why we are using means we are learning free of
Okay.
cost because it's free. Got it? And
Okay.
that too we are using T2 micro. Why we are using T2 micro? Because it's free.
It's
If you go with
free.
other thing, T2 large, it's paid one. Hourly basis, they are going to generate the bill for us.
Okay.
Okay, right?
The
In
main.
companies, once we go with, in reality, companies will do the payments actually because they require huge servers. They require more memory. They do the payment in companies. Okay,
Okay.
right? Since we are only doing learning part, right? So that's the reason I've chosen T2 micro.
If we have the very less data, we can go with the EC2, right?
Yeah, less memory. If you require, we go with EC2.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I got it.
right?
Yeah.
So ensure that by tomorrow you try to install this, you create Linux virtual machine in AWS. Okay,
Okay.
right? So if time is not permitting, try to work out it this weekend. Okay. Right.
Mhm.
So tomorrow we are going to start off with the Linux commands. Just I've shown some of the commands like ls, touch, date, cal. So we'll be learning some more new commands related to Linux in tomorrow's class. Okay. All right.
Yeah. One more
Yeah.
doubt I
Yes.
have.
Yeah.
Here we are using the git bash, right? Instead of the git bash, we can use the putty and the winsap
Anything.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything we can do.
but the same command.
Commands will remain same, no? Linux commands will remain same. Only to
Okay.
get this prompt, we are using the SSH tools. This one,
Okay.
anyone we can use. So once you get this dollar prompt, no, same thing we
Mm-hmm.
get dollar prompt. Then commands
Okay.
will remain same because you are working with. In order to connect to Linux, I'm using this SSH. Anyone we can use.
Okay.
But once we connect
Okay.
to Linux operating system, Linux
Mm.
operating system is common for anything, right? It's only to establish the connection to Linux virtual machine.
Okay.
Once we get connected to Linux, commands will remain same. Got it?
Okay. I
Only
got it.
to only this symbol we get. Anything we get this symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we will
Yeah.
be getting like this EC2 user, and this is the IP address where it is running in AWS. And
Yeah.
what is our username? EC2 user. Got it?
Yes.
Right?
Got it.
So thank you all. Thank you very much. And thank for your questions also. Good interaction. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.